chief political correspondent Carl Cameron, who's live in Miami, where we're going to hear from Marco Rubio tonight. Carl, set the scene for us.
Well, Martha, the Rubio campaign sort of let it be known in the last few weeks that this was going to happen today. It's not really a big surprise. What was a surprise was Hillary Clinton's announcement on the internet that she's going to get into the race, that she's official now, and she'll head to Iowa on Tuesday. And the Rubio campaign actually cast that as something of an opportunity for them to get a little bit of the attention from Hillary, who dominates yesterday afternoon's news with an internet email and some postings there, and doesn't actually get to Iowa until tomorrow. So Rubio's launching it today, as you said, here at the Freedom Tower in Miami. From 1962 to 1974, it was the processing center for a lot of the Cuban exiles. And for Marco Rubio, it is very symbolic, not only of his own biography, the son of Cuban immigrants, but also of his historic candidacy in that he would be the first presidential nominee in either party who is Hispanic. And he'll talk a great deal about that, saying that he is a fresh face for the Republican Party, a freshman Florida senator who was, in fact, one of the very first Tea Party candidates elected in 2010. And when he got into office, he very quickly passed or proposed an immigration reform that offended a lot of Tea Party conservatives because they thought what he was proposing was amnesty. He has a big establishment connection. His political career began in Florida. He was the Speaker of the House, and his benefactor and mentor was then Florida Governor Jeb Bush. Today they officially become rivals. Mr. Bush isn't expected to formally announce his candidacy for another month or so, perhaps even more. But today Rubio makes his case, and he will make a strong case for foreign policy. His heritage, his background, his perspective on worldviews is mainstream conservative hawk. On social issues, he is also a strong social conservative. Because he's Latino, because he's only 43 years old, he can attract younger voters and perhaps some Tea Partiers. And as they often say, it's almost an impossible task in the Republican Party, but he does have credentials with both the Tea Party and the establishment. And he'll hope to use those to appeal to the broadest possible spectrum of Republican voters, Martha.
Very interesting to watch his rollout tonight. So he'll have to work, obviously, to differentiate himself from Cruz and from Paul, the two guys who are already in.
They are, and he does do that. Rubio aides would argue that he is more electable in that he is more mainstream. Ted Cruz, a firebrand Tea Partier who many sort of blame for the government shutdown a couple of years ago. Rand Paul, a libertarian-leading conservative. Father Ron Paul was a presidential candidate 3 times and sometimes viewed as sort of on the fringe. So Rubio, as one of the 3 senators in the Tea Party, we can't rule out Lindsey Graham as well from South Carolina, but he is a favorite son in the South primary. So Rubio positions himself well amongst the senators. Against Jeb Bush, obviously, there's that relationship that he has with him. With Scott Walker, this may be a real test because you will have Senator Marco Rubio against Governor Scott Walker, both of them popular across the Republican spectrum, but one a governor with executive experience, one a senator with more foreign policy experience. So it's a close race. All of the candidates are very closely knotted together. By some polls, Bush is ahead. By some, it's Walker. But the truth is they are all very closely knotted, almost within the margin of error. It's anybody's race, and it's wide open, Martha.
Yeah, it sure is, as we get started. Carl, thanks.